All right, today we're gonna review for quiz number 6. Everything that we're simplifying, whether it's the first ones or the last ones. And by the way, the quiz will start with long division and then go to synthetic division. These problems will be on the back side, okay? So you have more room to do the work. All right, but first we're gonna just factor the top. The GCF is 6 times x minus 6. And all right, some of that actually reduces. X minus 6 over x minus 6 is 1. 6 times 1 is 6. All right, so it reduces to be 6, but we need to know what are the excluded values. The excluded values are whatever make the denominator equal to 0. So x minus 6 equals 0, x equals 6, and that's what x cannot be because it's an excluded value. X cannot be 6, and 6 is actually how it simplifies. Okay, second one, factor. This is a trinomial, no GCF. I know there's no GCF because there's no number in front of the squared term. Wait a minute. This is the same trinomial over itself. Wow, beautiful. We don't even need to factor because this is literally a special form of the number 1. So this simplifies to b1. And psych, we do need a factor because we need to know what are those excluded values. So two numbers that multiply to give me negative 28 and add or subtract to give me negative 3. P's and Q's, that would be negative 7 plus 4, negative 7 times 4. Of course, that's how it does end up factoring on the top, and so I'll put it in. Okay, so what's gonna make the denominator equal to 0? N cannot be, that's 7. N cannot be 7. And then n plus 4 equals 0. N cannot equal negative 4. So it simplifies to 1, and then my excluded values are 7 and negative 4. All right, use long division. Okay, so the first thing we need to check is to make sure that there are no missing powers. So 3, 2, this is a 1, and this is x to the 0 if there's no x. All right, so we're not missing any powers. The dividend will go inside 24x cubed minus 8x squared minus 22x plus 6, dividing by 4x plus 2. All right, so I'm gonna ask myself, so the first step is to divide, then multiply, then subtract or add. 24x cubed divided by 4x is 6x squared. So 6x squared needs to go on top of the squared column. And now we'll multiply each of the divisor's pieces by the first piece of the quotient. Okay, 4x times 6x squared, 24x cubed. 2 times 6x squared is 12x squared. Draw your line and change your signs. So now we're adding because the draw your line, change your signs things was the subtraction. So that's 0, negative 20, x squared. You're dividing by 2 terms, so you need to have 2 terms here. 4x times something gives me negative 20x squared. That's negative 5x. That's negative 20x squared. 2 times negative 5x is negative 10x. Draw your line and change your signs. We have 0 and negative 2x. Drop the 6. 4x times something gives me negative 2x. That would be a negative 12, not a negative 2. Totally forgot about the other 10. Okay, 4x times something gives me negative 12x. That would be negative 3x. 4x times negative 3 is negative 12x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Draw your line and change your signs. 6 plus 6 is 12. It's not 0, it's 12. All right, and we write the remainder over the divisor, 4x plus 2. All right, that was rough, y'all. Okay, let's see if I can get through the next one without any mistakes. First, let's check that there are no missing powers. 3, 2, and then this one is 0 because there's no x at all. So yeah, we are missing an x to the 1, the x term. So I'm gonna say plus 0x to make sure that there's a placeholder. X cubed minus 5x squared plus 0x plus 5 is gonna be divided by this beautiful quadratic trinomial. So divide, multiply, add. X cubed divided by x squared is x. That goes above the x column. Now this may look like scary because you're dividing by 3 terms, but guess what? Dividing by 3 terms actually makes the process go by faster because you're getting more done with each step. Okay, so x times x squared is x cubed. It's negative 6x times x, negative 6x squared. Positive 6 times x, positive 6x. Draw your line and change your signs. And then now add. That's 0. Negative 5x squared plus 6x squared is x squared. 0x minus 6x is negative 6x. Your divisor is 3 terms, so you need to have 3 terms, so drop the 5. Now divide. X squared divided by x squared is 1, so we'll say plus 1. And multiply. X squared times 1, negative 6x times 1, 6 times 1. Draw your line and change your signs. All right, so let's add. X squared minus x squared is 0, negative 6x plus 6x is 0, positive 5 minus 6 is negative 1. All right, and this is my remainder. So you should have, you can either do plus a negative 1 or a minus. If this is 2 terms though, I would recommend just doing plus because you could get confused with something. So I'm gonna do minus here though, because it's just 1 term. 1 over x squared minus 6x plus 6. If you need to see the answer, it's on the back of your paper. Okay, synthetic division. All right, again, check to make sure you're not missing any powers. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Great, good to go. Synthetic division does not use any variables, so it's extremely important that you remember those missing, to check for the missing powers. So you use the coefficients 9, negative 3, negative 12, negative 6, and 19. And then you're dividing by x minus k. So k is actually the opposite of the sign that you see here. So instead of negative 1, k should be 1. And that's what goes outside the L. All right, synthetic division is like dominoes. The first one has to fall in order for you to play the game. 9 times 1 is 9. Add. Okay, then we multiply. 6 times 1, it goes here, and then we add vertically. You multiply diagonally, you add vertically. Negative 6. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Add vertically. Negative 12. Negative 12 times 1 is negative 12. Add vertically. 7. All right, so you see that this is x to the 4, and you're dividing x to the 1. So your answer should be x to the 3, right? 1 less than the dividend. X to the 3, I'm going to put a plus, since I know this is positive 6. X to the 2, negative 6 times x. Negative 12 is just a regular number. And then you add your remainder over the divisor. This is not the divisor, this is the divisor. So this is actually my final answer, okay? All right, check for missing powers. 4, 3, 2, plus 0x, and then minus 8, and that's the 0 term. Okay, so don't forget the 0 here. Draw your L, x minus, well, of course, 1 is what we're dividing by again, okay. And then you take the coefficients, 5, negative 15, 20, 0, and -8. If you forget this 0, because there are no x's attached, you'll have no clue, okay? So it's really important for synthetic division to check. First one has to fall in order to play. 5 times 1 is 5. Add vertically, -10. Multiply diagonally, -10. Add vertically, 10. Multiply 10. Add vertically. Wow, I just keep getting 10. All right. Okay, this is x to the 4, and you're dividing by x to the 1, so this should be an x cubed. X squared. Don't forget to put a plus if you don't have one already. X plus 10. The last one is not your constant term, it's your remainder, so plus 2 over the divisor x minus 1. All right, so we're gonna factor.